What is going on, guys? Now we have another action-packed, thrilling heavyweight fight on British soil. Hopefully it is as cracking and as exciting as the one we just saw with Wardley in the bar. Dave Allen against Filip Hrgovic. Two hard nut warriors, but one has a pure amateur pedigree, one is just a hard lad from Donny. But if I'm honest, closer than people think. Now, when you see with Dave Allen against Makhmedov, he had his moments where, I'm not going to break down his last fight because that was pathetic. Against Makhmedov, against someone who, again, he's taller and bigger, but he's got a similar style to Hrgovic where he just spams that 1-2, that double jab 2. Pretty predictable, and then he leans over. But you see, when Dave Allen does lean over, Makhmedov caught him with that left, so he does need to be careful because he is open for many counters where I know he hasn't been on the deck, but Hrgovic does crack. Not as hard as fighters he's fought, like the Dillian Whites. I'll probably say even Pricey's a bigger puncher than him, and even Yoka off roids. But I do believe he could slowly break him down and potentially stop him. But again, against someone like Dave Allen, as you see here, he takes punches all night long. You know, he doesn't move his head. You just can't drop him. The only way to stop him is, quite simply, break him down, or, you know, the corner pull him out or throw a towel, which, if I'm honest, could be a possibility. But Dave Allen's tough, so I do believe many things can happen because Dave Allen's always got that right hand and it's always there, just like as he showed in the Nick Webb fight. So I do believe it, although he's 1-10, Hrgovic is a lot closer because Dave Allen's got that one punch power, and I do believe Hrgovic is someone who, when he fights in spells, and a lot of the time he just doesn't look interested and just doesn't care. Shili Zhang's fight against his fight against Shili Zhang is a perfect example of that. But against Makhmedov with Dave Allen, he landed good shots, but he done it in spells. You need to be good for 12 rounds, and he did prove he's an athlete. He's a hard nut. He's a proper tough fighter. But at the same time, he threw it, I'd say, in the early rounds, as he always does. You know, losing the first 3-4 rounds, because it takes him, as soon as it goes past 5-6 rounds, that's when he warms up. Similar to the Johnny Fisher second fight, and similar to the first fight, which is what cost him on the scorecards, because he lost them early rounds, which was the biggest decider in the scorecards, although he did lose that fight, let's be honest. But one thing you'll see here with Makhmedov, when he pushed him back, although he's hitting him with everything, Makhmedov, Dave Allen's standing there, he's stamping his authority, he's trying. Again, this is mental warfare where you're on the front foot and you're taking every shot and you're still throwing back, because that will mentally fatigue the fighter in front of you, which is what it did with Makhmedov. But again, Dave Allen just didn't have enough in the gas tank to get him over the line. As you'll see in the last round when he's swinging for the hills, he hurt him in the 12th as well, proper going for it, but again, it just wasn't to be, and unfortunately he didn't get the win, although it was a great effort. It was a clear 116, 112, possibly 117, 111 I should say, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough. But he did show that he can mix with the fringe world level, where with Hrgovic, you see against David Adelaide, he had great moments just using his jab, piecing him up, picking his punches. He'd done it for 10 rounds straight perfectly, but he did have a few lapses of judgments where you'll see here, landing good shots at Adelaide on the back foot. And one thing I like here, where he lands the shots, he steps back, he resets, gets his base, then he comes back in and lands shots of his own. You know, he just doesn't stand back and admire his work. In, out, and then gets shots off his own, and doesn't allow Adelaide to have shots off his own. Besides, when he had him at his most dangerous, when he was hurt, as you'll see here. Legs go like Bambi, land a good 1-2, goes again for a 1-2, uppercut, hooks to the body. David Adelaide, you know what he is. Showboating, shout out Adelaide, West London massive. But then after he got showboating, I should say, 1-2, boom, on the deck, and legs were even more like Bambi. But he left himself open when he went for the kill, because Adelaide, you can see the way he was teeing up with that left hand, teeing up to the body, slips that shot, boom, left hook of his own, and then Adelaide was swinging for the hills, and he nearly had Hrgovic out in the fight, where 30 seconds earlier I should say, he was on the deck. But Hrgovic just, I don't know, he's a strange fighter, he is. And people say, you know, he's world level, this, that. He is world level, but he's not elite. Maybe in the amateurs potentially, but not in the pros, because he fights in spells where, see there, no defense, No thought of, let's move our head, let's slip, let's hold and pivot, make him smother his work. Just stood there, just absolutely like I can't even say what I was going to say because I'm not trying to ruin any chance of me getting monetized, but you could probably imagine that word. But you see that with Joyce, again, although he's slow as a snail, when he's coming towards him, he's just not thrown. It's the same with Shili Zhang as well, where Hrgovic, he won, but he struggled based on pressure. And I'll be honest, Joyce was a close fight, and Zhang I thought he lost, but pressure fighters he struggled with, which is something that Dave Allen is. And even when he was on the back foot, he's the most dangerous. So this is why I do believe styles make fights. And you'll see there, the count was like that, with a 1-2 when he's on the back foot and Joyce is missing. If he does that to Dave Allen, it could be a long night for him. But his chin's always exposed, so he could be the one on the deck as well. But all in all, I do believe it will be a competitive fight, and it'll be a very intriguing one. But Hrgovic, to win, he just needs to do so many things right, because there's a lot of things he does right and a lot of things he does wrong. But you'll see, he got exposed against the bar where he was spamming that 1-2 for 2 rounds straight. Next thing you know, the cut came on and then he just folded. Completely folded, and then Dubois got the job done where, if I'm honest, the first 2 rounds he could have easily got Dubois out there, but he just didn't push the pace because, as I say, he boxes and spells. And he's another fighter that goes through the motions. He doesn't, go in there and be like, do you know what, I'm going to destroy him. He just goes with the flow and he fights to his opponent level, which could backfire massively, in this fight where he fought to Adelaide's level, although he got the job done. Where if he does against Dave Allen, someone who I do believe, Adelaide's a good fight, but I do believe Allen does crack a lot harder than Adelaide, it could be interesting. Now, with Dave Allen, keys to victory, you got to drag Hrgovic on the inside, don't let him box and move like he does with his strong amateur pedigree, make him smother his work when he comes on the inside, because you're going to appeal more to the judges, and just move your head. Every fight, it's simple with Dave Allen, just move your head, land shots of your own, bit more volume, and then the fight's yours. Because one thing I do say about Dave Allen is, people say, he's this and he's that, he's this, tough fighter. He throws 4 or 5 windmills around, so he needs to up it a lot more than he should. Now with Hrgovic, 1-2 and pivot all night long. Again, you can easily win a fight based off being in first gear the whole fight, because it's Dave Allen. More time, he's just a punching bag for the up-and-coming fighters. You got to win the fight on the front foot, be the one that stamps his authority, and win them rounds early. As I said with Dave Allen, he takes long to start. After the 5th or 6th, that's when he gets started in the fight. So if you nab them few early rounds, and let's say, because it is a 10 rounder, I believe, according to BoxRec, that could get interesting where it's a close fight, but he gets the edge on the scorecards just purely of winning the later rounds. Early rounds, I should say. So again, he just needs to do what he needs to do from the first bell. Not from the 4th round, not from the 7th round, from the first round. And it'll be an easy night's work for Hrgovic, which is why I do believe it'll be competitive. Allen will land a few good shots of his own, Hrgovic will, but I do believe Hrgovic will win. It'll be competitive but quite clear. But back to my points, what I said about Dave Allen, he is a tough man, but I do believe he'll win. He will have probably Allen wobbled a few times, but I do think he will get a win on the scorecards. I don't think he cracks that hard enough to the point where he's the first man to drop and stop Dave Allen, which is why I will be backing Filip Hrgovic points, and I do believe it will be quite clear and decisive.